All right, let's get into it.
Here's a conspiracy theory about the food industry. Some of you may think I'm crazy, and some of you might agree with me, but just hear me out. So we're always dealing with an issue with the food industry, right? E. coli or salmonella. In this case right now, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with explosive diarrhea. So the cyclospora parasite that's causing everybody to all over themselves, that's coming from the shredded lettuce from Taylor Farms. But what if this is all by design? All by design to get us to move away from natural fruits and vegetables and meats. And they start putting that lab-grown in front of us because it's more convenient, right? It's more safe. And if that's the case, they're preparing us. And they've been preparing us. We already know that they're what they're doing with the lab-grown meat and vegetables. So it's going to come at some point in time. So would you switch to lab-grown meat or lab-grown fruits and vegetables?
It would take a whole lot of convincing to have me eat lab-grown anything. I try to keep my food as natural as I can, and sure, I do have my guilty pleasures, if you will, by eating some fast food here and there, and also potato chips, as you just can't resist potato chips sometimes, even if I have the capabilities of making them myself. There's just something about Doritos. But meat grown from a lab, I think I'll pass on that one.
We've got this strange object seen in the sky over the southeastern United States just the other day, and I got pictures of it. Pictures, baby cakes. So like I said, this picture was taken over the southeastern part of the United States. You notice anything right above my head? What about now that I circled it for you? You see that? You see that light in the sky? Well, it ain't the sun, it ain't the moon, it ain't the Human Torch. For all you people who've heard of the Fantastic Four, that is something different. And it's also not a plane. Maybe it's an orb, but it'd be a strange looking one. So, with all of that stuff eliminated, it's definitely a UFO. Because a UFO is an unidentified flying object, not necessarily an alien spacecraft. And truthfully, if I saw this thing in the sky, especially in the middle of the day, when it can't be a star or something like that, I'd freak out, baby cakes. I'd freak out. Because this, right there, is not a normal thing to see up in the sky. So let me know what you think of this whole
Could be pointing towards the west, and that's actually the sunset. And he said it's in broad daylight, but you can see the park lamps are on, so it's kind of dark out. I would be willing to say that that's a sunset, but it does look a little odd. Let me know what you guys think of this one.
Listen, I love me a good conspiracy theory, okay? Ooh, I love me a little conspiracy theory, especially when it's something I haven't heard before. So let me put y'all on to two conspiracy theories that are new to me and hopefully new to you. Do also want to give some credit to the Shane Dawson podcast because I do in fact love them down when it comes to a conspiracy video, okay? Now, I know we've all seen the trends on TikTok and on Instagram Reels with the you say a saying and different emotions, like happy, sad, angry, whatever the case may be. Stop doing those. So apparently those trends are put in place on purpose so that we can basically train AI, because a lot of the AI initiatives and programs that exist now, they lack emotion, right? Well, they won't lack it now, okay? Because all they got to do is quite literally run that trend through the AI algorithm system, however they do it, and baby, it got all the emotion it's going to ever need. So what may seem just like a fun, cute little activity or video for you to do with friends or family or by yourself is actually catering to the downfall of just human beings as a society, okay? And as straightforward as that sounds, it really kind of blew my mind because I'm just like, wow, it's that easy. It's that easy to turn a trend into analytics and logistics for AI these days. Another one that really caught me by surprise was, y'all know all those videos where it's talk about a conspiracy theory that you believe in 100%, or those picture posts where it just has it written across the screen like that. Don't participate in those. No more. So apparently the government is like reviewing those conspiracy type of videos and the comments in those videos to see like what the people believe, like what we already believe as a conspiracy, so that they know like which conspiracies to kind of like continue to fuel to make people continue to believe in them, and which ones they think people just don't even really care about. Again, using people for information and research and things like that that have a bigger agenda, or that's tied to a bigger agenda. Now that one is a little bit less intimidating for me. I just think that that's kind of, again, it's so in your face that it's not even a thought kind of thing, where it's like, wow, it is that easy just to ask people for the information that they know and they're going to just sit there and give it to you. That is, of course, assuming that the government is the one reviewing that information.
I would say that the government's probably always monitored conspiracy theories that are roaming around online. I mean, a lot of it gets taken down and shadow banned, and that's been going on for quite a while. But I will have to say the emotions, that is actually a really good theory. I actually believe that that is exactly what that is. And if you're not familiar with what she's talking about as far as this trend, I have seen it all over TikTok, and I wondered, you know, it is funny. Don't get me wrong. It's wholesome sometimes because people do it with their family, and I'll show you a clip of it here in a moment. But it was just like, it came out of nowhere, and with this theory, that kind of makes sense. So let's take a look at that trend.
Put the cookie down. Okay. I cannot get disappointed. Channel it in. Put the cookie down. Supportive. Okay, put the cookie down. Supportive. Put the cookie down.
And that's pretty much the trend. It's really wholesome in theory, but when you think about it, if the AI is using this as an emotional response and it learns from emotions this way, then it starts to make a lot of sense as to why and where this trend really comes from. Maybe it's digging in a little too deep. Let me know your thoughts and theories on this one. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this Monday through Friday, early in the morning. And for everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Welcome to my series, I Want to Know. I want to know about the New Brighton Tower. This tower was a lattice hyperboloid observation tower at New Brighton in the town of Wallasey, Cheshire, in England. This thing stood 567 feet tall and was the tallest building in Great Britain when it opened on June 4th, 1898. This thing was neglected during the First World War, and it required renovations by the owners, but they couldn't afford it. We cannot afford to fix this amazing tower, but I do have my tie on. And the dismantling of the tower started in 1919, and it was sold for scrap. But this tower, I'm sure, was used for more than just show. The building at its base, which is really incredible and looks like a castle, was used until 1969, and then it was damaged by a fire. Go figure. Groundbreaking for this incredible structure happened on June 22nd, 1896. And because of these very classy gentlemen who worked harder than anybody today, it was done and ready to go in 1898. Those Brits worked harder, but they're a little late to the party because there was another tower in England called the Blackpool Tower, and this thing is still standing today. In contrast to the Eiffel Tower and the Blackpool Tower, which were completely made of wrought iron, this one had a building at the base. And this building had the Brighton Tower Ballroom in it, which the Beatles played 27 times. We've only played it 26 times. Let's do it again. Shut up, John. This building was constructed by Peter & Sons of Rockdale, and it was a 4-story red brick building with arched windows and hexagonal copper domed turrets. Sounds kind of awesome. Of course, that would catch fire, right? It's brick. Why not? So as the narrative goes, this tower was built for the sole purpose and centerpiece of a massive amusement park to entertain the Brits. And when it opened in 1898, it was just there for entertainment and observation. There was a 2,500-seat tower theater, a massive ballroom, which was one of the largest in North England. There was recreation and sports all around the grounds, and it had a menagerie with a zoo that featured everything from lions to bears to elephants. But the tower was just for observation. But what I want to know, with towers like the New Brighton Tower, the Blackpool Tower, the famous Eiffel Tower, and then the Wardenclyffe Tower that Tesla built, yet his tower was built for the sole purpose and prototype for a global wireless communication and power transmission system. How can we look at these towers today and go, they were just for observation and entertainment? Because I don't think they were. If the powerful elites with the ties on gave us all free energy, well then we wouldn't be making any money, and then we couldn't run around to our islands and our secret hangouts. No free energy for you. Don't ask any questions. Too bad, because I want to know. But what I really want to know is who on that list is going to jail first in America.
It's definitely an interesting theory when you see towers like the New Brighton Tower, the Eiffel Tower, and even the Wardenclyffe. It does make you think, what if these towers were made for some form of free energy and they just destroyed that history because, like you said, they wouldn't be making any money? It's an interesting theory. Let me know what you guys think on this one.
See, they must think we're not paying attention. But ever since CERN shut down, things have been totally different. Case in point, who is this man right here? And after you tell me who he is, because I know everybody knows his name, I want you to tell me how his last name is spelled. So for those of you that don't know, this is a famous American pastor. His first name is Joel, and his last name is Osteen. At least that was his last name years ago. But right now, they're saying that his last name isn't the same last name that we all know it is. Now, if you know him, you know for sure that his last name had an L in it. Olsteen. But ever since that hydrogen collider machine shut off, this is what they're saying his last name is now. But you're going to have a lot of people say, that is his last name. His last name never had an L in it. Well, if that's the case, then what is this? And don't tell me this is a computer error. See, what it is anything that's digital can be altered. It can be changed. But one thing you can't control is computer error. Why is the L here and the L isn't here? And we can go down a couple of rabbit holes of things that happened since CERN shut down. Fruit of the Loom Cornucopia, Chick-fil-A K, Bernstein Bears, and the list goes on. But the question I need to ask you is, why do you think they're doing this? Or do you think we jump timelines? I know what I think.
I had to look this up to see if this was actually true because I remember his name being Osteen as well. Apparently it's Joel Osteen with no L. Now, I never really went out of my way to look this guy up before. I've always gone by word of mouth as to what his name was and what I thought that I seen it was on the internet, so I could have been blinded by that, but looking it up here, it is what he said it is. Now, either that is a Mandela effect or just really not looking into someone's name personally and just hearing it from someone else. This one I am not certain on, but I do know a lot of people and myself that would have called him Joel Osteen. Let me know, is it Joel Osteen for you as well, or has it always been Joel Osteen?
Now, if you're thinking that there's no way that the average person will accept robots in their everyday lives, certainly not in medicine, well, we're already getting there, aside from the application of robots in places like factories and interfacing with other people in terms of medicine, at least in other countries. We're already seeing delivery robots. We've all just kind of accepted that they are there. I mean, if the delivery is cheaper, people are happy to use a robot rather than an actual person. And yes, they are made to be kind of adorable because humans are kind to adorable things. I mean, I have empathy for robots, I am not going to lie. Companies are also trying to create an affordable home assistant robot. I mean, Weave has created an $8,000 home robot, or you can pay roughly $500 a month to get a subscription to it, and I gotta say, it's kind of tempting. While we are now talking about the home version of this thing, they're already operating in industry. Yeah, apparently they're pretty good at folding laundry. Now, these things can be kind of dangerous. They're not going to be able to accurately distinguish between a toddler and a pet versus an obstacle on the floor, and that is something to consider. There's also the capacity for them to be hacked, and they're operating in your home. And yes, they do have to have a person operating behind their eyes in order to make sure that what they're doing is safe. So that also introduces privacy concerns. Now, all it takes for the adoption of this technology is for it to be normalized. I mean, we drive 2-ton hunks of metal down the freeway, even though it is quite dangerous. And we also have all sorts of technology that has privacy concerns, and we all just kind of accept it because, first off, everyone uses it, and also because it's really freaking convenient. So if having a robot in your home becomes the next nanny or the next maid, then yeah, I have no question whether or not people will adopt it. They will.
If robots were provided by the government, a lot of people would adopt robots that would do house service and chores. Also, if it was to babysit and monitor their children, people would definitely adopt robots in that regards. Paying $8,000 up front for one, I could see some people doing that as well. Paying $500 a month, no. But I am a bit confused as to if you pay $8,000 for that robot and there's someone operating it somewhere else, do you not pay them for that? Is that $8,000 just cover a lifetime service of someone else working for you basically for free? Something just doesn't add up there. And what's the point of having a robot that has someone that you would either be paying $500 a month for, or you would be paying $8,000 up front for? You could literally just pay someone to come over to your home and fold clothes if you were willing to give a robot the access of your privacy to your house while someone else operates it from who knows where. It just makes no sense to me. Now, a robot that's just programmed to do simple tasks and understands the mapping of a house and how to fold clothes, maybe even do dishes, okay, $5,000 maybe, but not if it's operated by someone that I don't even know, or just in general. It should be fully autonomous.
Visited the 2 crop circles in Devizes, Wiltshire today, and I did a full on-site investigation, scientific analysis, and a full breakdown of what I found and what me and Ronnie found and other people that we bumped into to kind of get their thoughts and processes. It's going to be a 2-part season. But what we found at this site was very, very interesting regardless of the situation and our verdict of what we saw. The full video will be on my YT, so if you guys can go check it, link in bio, go check it out. Full on-site investigation comparing to what we've actually found at anomalous sites, which are completely unexplainable, versus this site, which in my opinion and from my verdict, it's a human-made space. But that doesn't take away the magic of the situation, because it's very, very it's very important that we have both pieces of data to kind of corroborate the evidence between what's really strange to what we have genuinely seen at Sutton Veney, White Sheet Hill, a few other places, and the man-made locations that we have on this one and a few others as well, to really show people about what we're dealing with, and that there is something genuinely anomalous going on, and what to look out for. Okay, so observing the nodes, observing the site location, doing our EMF radiation and guide counter and all that type stuff to kind of build up the data set, and coming to the conclusion of why we chose that this is a man-made location. And I will show you the evidence deep on the video and you will see clear as day. But it doesn't take away the interesting nature of these human-made crop circles, because there is still energy, there's still power there, and these sacred, most of these crop circles are sacred geometry frequency patterns that have been created from a human influence. But there's a part of this section as well where we don't know that people that are creating these, one, they do their research because they are very, very good at what they do, and two, a lot of these people that do create these crop circles are spiritual in nature and do them under ritualistic activities for their own spiritual kind of purposes, and they are guided from who I've spoke to, from what they're kind of pulled to do, you know. And who's to say that some of these crop circles that are human made aren't given information from a higher vibration above to kind of build these symbologies or these symbolisms to then be drawn to a location in specific to carve out what we have here, to then maybe put some sort of information, some frequency in the area, to help things tick over, or to work on multiple physical planes, because people are still feeling stuff at these site locations, right? And that's the most interesting side. And the people and crop circle makers I have interviewed, the ones that actually want to talk, have come forward and said that they also experience strange, unexplainable phenomena from visitations to UFOs and strange paranormal activity taking place when they have made these sites as well, these locations. So yeah, very interesting. Check out my latest video. It is cool.
Well, for anyone that's interested in checking out his channel, there you go. I personally called that this was a man-made crop circle. I mean, honestly, almost every crop circle that runs across my path, I'd pretty much call as a man-made crop circle, but there's a lot of people that take offense to that. I actually have been called retarded for calling this specific crop circle man-made. And really the only reason why I called it man-made is because it's got this woven pattern to it. That's really what gives it to me as a man-made crop circle. And I also had another commenter really bring up a good point. Why is it always possibly people or extraterrestrials that's done this? Who's to say maybe Bigfoot's not the one that's out there doing these crop circles? It's a pretty good theory, actually. But overall, the crop circles are still really cool. I mean, the people that work behind them are very talented. It's just I have a very hard time believing that a lot of them are some sort of extraterrestrial anomaly or some kind of anomaly that's not man-made. But again, if you guys are really interested in this, check out his YouTube channel.
You know that theory of once the universe removes people from your life who weren't meant to be there, that you will never run into that person again? I think that is so true. It's definitely been true in my life, where it's like once I finally got to a point where I either cut somebody off or finally walked away from a person, whatever, our business was done. There was no unfinished business between us. I have never seen that person again. And I really think there's a couple of theories that I have. One is that the universe only has you come back into contact with people that you have unfinished business with. Like if there was that breakup and there was stuff that was left unresolved, you're going to like run into that person. It could be years from now. You could both be married with kids, living in different cities, different countries, whatever. But something's going to happen where you're going to run into that person again because you have unfinished business. And it's not really up to us, right? It's not up to us when things are over. It's up to the universe to let it be done, to sever the ties. The other theory I have is that when you finally make a change and you like trust that if you are done and you say, okay, this is over, I'm not calling this person anymore, or this friendship is done, I'm walking away, I have nothing left to say, I have nothing left that I need closure on. Once you have like the courage to do that, it's like you're trusting that you're going to be okay. You're trusting the universe, higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, that by doing something that's unfamiliar and uncomfortable, making that change, that you're going to be okay. And once you trust that, you've been removed and you kind of move, like jump timelines. Like now you're on a different plane of existence. So you're not going to run into that person anymore because they're not on your level, literally not on your level anymore. So I don't know if that's happened to you, but I'm telling you, every single time I've gotten to that point where I know there's nothing left to be said, nothing left undone, nothing that I'm going to regret if I don't do it, say it, or whatever, I've never seen those people again a day in my life.
That's actually a really interesting point. I'm not certain if that's the way it works for you, but it actually kind of works that way for me. I have not the largest friend group by all means, but I do have enough friends that I've cut ties with some of them for reasons and have no business with them whatsoever, and I've never ran across them, and they're more local than some of my friends that are actually within my life that I randomly just run across here and there that are not as local as some of these people that I have cut ties with. And maybe, like she said, I just never run across their paths because I have no more business with them. I have no business whatsoever with them. I mean, that's an interesting way of looking at it.
On July 3rd, 2026, some shockingly clear photos of Bigfoot's face were released. The caption reads, "This is not a monkey." Remote Southwest Washington State, USA trail cam photos. The images were taken by a super high quality trail camera as the captures are super HD. Check them out. The creature seen looks very strange. Not quite monkey-like, not quite human-like, like something we've never seen before. They even look different than the usual descriptions of Bigfoot. The first capture shows the creature slightly further away, looking down slightly, away from the trail camera. It seems at first it didn't realize the camera was there. Then in the second shot, it's seen looking right at the camera, giving us a closer and clearer look at its features. It looks wild and predatory, with tiny human-like eyes, an excessively large nose, straight lips, and lighter-colored rough skin. And its face is surrounded by coarse hair. It almost looks like a mane. I don't know about you, but when I first looked at the creature, I thought it looked like an ape mixed with a lion mixed with a human. It just looks so off-putting. And not to mention, Washington State is often considered one of the most famous places in the world for Bigfoot stories. This is because of the sheer number of eyewitness accounts and the amount of wilderness where people believe an unknown animal could remain hidden.
I don't know about this one. It does look like a real photo. And this one is making its rounds online quite a bit. A lot of people are putting a lot of faith into this one. I'm not going to say it's fake like I always do because I just do not know on this one yet. If it's real, we'll have some more follow-ups on it soon enough. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one.
Have you ever used the saying Debbie Downer before 2004? Like in the 90s, everybody was saying Debbie Downer. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Well, if you have, you're lying, because apparently the term Debbie Downer wasn't a thing until the SNL skit episode where they introduced Debbie Downer in 2004, which blows my mind because I remember using Debbie Downer, don't be a Debbie Downer, because Debbie Downer means don't bring everybody down, you're just negative. And it's like, it's ingrained in my head that I used to say it before 2004. So let me know what universe you're from. Did you used to use it before 2004 or after? Let me know, and TikTok this for entertainment purposes only.
I actually find this one to be quite odd because I know that this was a saying that my grandfather would use, mainly because one of his kids was named Debbie. Well, actually her name was Deborah. And that was just a quote that he would say. And that was before the 2000s. I was just a little kid, but I very, very specifically remember him calling her that, and she always hated it. And the other thing is they never really watched television. My grandfather is a farmer. All of his kids were farmers. They did not have TV. They did have radio for a long time. And my grandfather did work at a factory for a little bit. Maybe he was influenced there at some point. And my grandpa did get TV when I was about 10 years old. And at that point, it was only like 2000, maybe 2002. So I'm sure Debbie Downer was not just created by SNL, but it was probably some kind of term that was used quite widely in the past that just got picked up and turned into an actual character. That would be my guess.
Hello, friends. So it is a busy day up there in astrology land. So let me break it down for you and tell you what I think is the most important thing to focus on, because there is also a lot of crazy clickbait stuff going on too. So you'll probably hear a lot of people talking about Barbot's basket or the July 2026 cradle. And yes, that is peaking right now on July 19th. But that's actually not the most important part. That's the last piece of this puzzle that's been building for a very long time. And it is the final piece that signifies that we're entering into a brand new era, a 200-year era of air sign conjunctions, which will lead to this digital AI revolution. And let me explain how I got there. Okay. So Andre Barbot, he is a very famous astrologer. He was considered a mundane astrologer, so he focuses on large timelines and the rise and falls of civilizations, and they use the cosmic clock to do this. So if you look at all the planets in the solar system as pieces of a clock, you have the moon, which is like the second hand because it goes really fast. You have the inner planets, they're like the minutes, they go really fast. And then you have Jupiter and Saturn, and they're like the months. And they meet up conjunction in the sky every 20 years. And for 200-year periods, every time they conjunct, every time they meet up in the sky, it's in the same type of sign, like earth, fire, air, right? So for the last 200 years, every 20 years, they have met up in an earth sign for 200 years. And that ended in in 2020 when we went unofficially into the air signs, and it became official today. That's what this Barbots basket and the cradle is, kind of the last piece of that puzzle, when we're now officially into the 200-year period of air signs, which means every 20 years, when Jupiter and Saturn conjunct and meet up, it's going to be in an air sign. So for the last 200 years, we were in a very materialistic, industrial revolution age. Everyone wanted big things, lots of land, lots of businesses, lots of employees, lots of stuff. That's ending. In 2020, it ended. And what happened? We had the pandemic, which Barbot accurately predicted, and everything went online. Zoom, digital, networking, right? Work from home, all that kind of stuff. That's very air. And now it officially cements as this air era. And for the next 200 years, we're going to move away from materialism, away from things and wanting stuff, to more, what do we see? What are the biggest businesses, the most, successful and richest people in the world? It's all about networking, cloud-based, digital, AI, information. That's all air. We are entering into an air era. Every 20 years, when Saturn and Jupiter conjunct, it's going to be in an air sign. And that means that we are in the season of air. And that's all basically the opposite of the last 200 years. So I think that's the most important part that people need to focus on, is we have now entered into, officially, this brand new era of human civilization. And that's kind of exciting, right? I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. Have a beautiful day.
I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer here, but this era of air is not that great when it's full of people that are wanting you to own nothing and be happy. That is literally a quote that we are currently going through, where everything's subscription based. They don't want you to have physical stuff anymore. Everything's renting and or leasing. It's not the greatest era in my opinion. I'm not very happy with the you will own nothing and be happy scenario. And that really feels like that's where we're leading towards. And that doesn't really excite me. I'm intrigued by it because I'm curious to see how far humanity will let that happen. But I'm not excited. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. And I would like to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. As always, I feel happy. I feel healthy. I'm doing my best. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. And if not, have a good day anyways.